they disagree. Here's an article in the Gloucester Times. Town Council stands by recent vote regarding paper cup. So the Town Council, Copeland and Page, our attorneys, said that the Board of Selectmen had absolutely no conflict of interest. So.
Aaron? You have the last word? Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Do you want to go again?
The town council can say anything they want. The point is that there's a moral conflict of interest there, and common sense was not used on the Board of Selectmen. You know, we need common sense. We need to be able to let this discussion go further. It's for the protection of the integrity of the Board of Selectmen and the process that we're in. And it's for everybody to have their input and their voice heard.
Paul, 30 seconds.
They did have their, I don't want to keep reading this, there's no sound about it, but we had it advertised, it was on their website, it was in the Gloucester Times, people had an opportunity. You just don't like the decision that the board made, that doesn't mean that the process was fault.
Aaron, you would have the last word on this if you like.
Sure. I'm hoping, and I actually have heard that there may be a number of businesses that looked at that change and looked at that as a positive change, maybe becoming before us, and we may have some other restaurants that, you know, there was a bit of an unfair advantage with some of our restaurants because of the way they serve food. They were at a disadvantage and they couldn't apply for an alcohol license. So it's kind of evens the playing field, I think, for all of our restaurants.
But I think the safety component has to be looked at as well.
Okay.
I mean, there's a safety component if alcohol is served in any kind of paper product. Rather than glass, it could leave the premises. And people going up Bearskin Neck and violating, you know, other laws and regulations that we have. That needed to be looked at as well, and it wasn't looked at thoroughly, and that's what extending the discussion for this could have done.
Well, that would be breaking the open container law, and that's why we have laws in the town. And I don't want to be to beat this too long, but if someone's walking down Bearskin Neck with a cup of and a beer in there, that's against the law, and there would be potential arrest.
Aaron?
Well, I was just going to say the same thing. We already have laws in place to deal with that. People could walk out with a real glass from a restaurant, and they, you know, they wouldn't be allowed to walk around town with that. So I don't see that as an issue.
Except that the glass is the property of the restaurant, where a non-glass paper product is not belong to the property. And the whole point is we don't want to get into the situation where people are violating the law, where owners of restaurants are potentially liable. We don't want to get into that. We don't want to get into a situation where people are liable as well. We don't want to create any kind of confusion on this issue whatsoever. That's why this needs to be looked at. It's not that I disagree completely with the decision, but the way in which it's done and the safety component hasn't been looked at. We want to be able to protect restaurants on this issue. Thank you.
This will be the last time I run this. Paul?
I'm good.
Aaron?
I trust the restaurants. I think that they'll keep an eye on things.
Okay. We go now to our closing statements. Each candidate will have a 1-minute closing statement. Again, this was determined by the draw at the beginning. Paul Murphy won the draw on this piece and chose to go last with the closings. So we're going to go right down the table, and we'll begin with Aaron Banistelli.
Thank you. I believe that I've been an asset to the Board of Selectmen and ask that you consider casting one of your votes for me. My work on the Capital Planning Improvement Committee over the last 3 years, heading up the Cape Ann Tool Company Task Force, and my willingness to serve as chairperson for the last 20 months illustrate for you my devotion to the job. I will continue to keep the town's best interest at the forefront of all my decisions and work hard to ensure that we continue in what I feel is going in the right direction. There's so much work ahead of us, and it's truly a team effort. We need people in these positions who can work well together and not be afraid to tackle the difficult issues. I thank you for your consideration.
Jonathan?
Well, I've listened to what the other candidates have said tonight, and of course, as incumbents, they believe that the board is going in the right direction. But other voters that I've been talking with just believe that the board is rudderless at the moment. It lacks direction. It's not able to produce the most sound policies, or fiscal policies for the town. I believe this economy, we need strong fiscal leadership, and we need strong policy leadership as well, unfettered with conflicts of interest. I plan to provide that leadership. My name is Jonathan Ring, and I ask for your vote for Selectmen on Tuesday, May 6th. Thank you.
Paul.
As I stated in my opening remarks, it has been an absolute honor to be elected to the Board of Selectmen 3 years ago. During that 3-year period, I have learned a great deal about Rockport and the people that reside here. It is truly a remarkable community that I've been able to call my home my entire life. How lucky am I? During the past few years, we've tackled some pretty significant issues. I've worked hard to make sure that I thoroughly understood both sides of the issue before casting a vote. I've made some controversial votes as well as some routine votes. Regardless, I've always voted in the best interest of the residents of Rockport. As a selectman, I have been very accessible to my constituents. I pride in myself the fact that I've returned every phone call and email to the best of my knowledge. I have never ducked an inquiry into why I voted a particular way. I've answered every question to the best of my ability when the press came calling. It's part of what I signed up when I got elected to the Board of Selectmen. I hope that you will support me by voting for me on May 6th so that I may continue to work on behalf of the town of Rockport and its outstanding citizens. Thank you.
Now, how about a round of applause? We're going to express some very special thanks here, especially to the Rockport Art Association, to the folks at KPN TV. This is going to be airing throughout the weekend. Again, beginning tomorrow night. It'll be airing on KPN's 3 channels tomorrow night, Saturday, and Sunday. Again, the Rockport Art Association has its historic art auction coming up on Saturday. And some other special thanks I just want to mention, introduce you to a couple of our folks here. The photographer and videographer is Desi Smith. Reporter Ariana McNeil. Very special thank you to our timekeeper, actress and theater instructor Heidi Dow. 3 people are running for 2 seats. You get to vote for 2 on Tuesday. But above all, please get out and vote Tuesday, May 6th. Thank you very much.